What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged review, and this is my review for Deadpool 2. Come on. You know this movie had been built up. After the success of the first Deadpool, and just how funny I think most people thought that was, how great of a job Ryan Reynolds did, there was some expectation here. And did it live up? Well, let's get into it. Directed by David Leitch. I'm going to go down the cast really quick like I usually do. Ryan Reynolds returns as Wade Wilson Deadpool. Josh Brolin comes in as Cable, one of my personal favorite comic book characters, period. And I was so happy to hear he was actually getting to be in a movie. Marina Baccarin comes back as Vanessa, who is also Copycat in the comics. Julian Dennison comes in as Fire Fist. Zazie Beetz comes in as Domino. Brianna Hildebrand returns as Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Shioli Katsuna as Yukio. Stefan Kapichik as voices Colossus. Then you get a few cameos during part of this movie. Brad Pitt as Vanisher, Terry Crews as Bedlam, Bill Skarsgård as Zeitgeist, Rob Delaney as Peter, G.J. Wilson comes back as Weasel, Leslie Uggams comes back as Blind Al, Karen Sony comes back as Dopinder, and you have Jack Casey as Black Tom. Now let's get into this movie, shall we? I was really a big fan of the first Deadpool. It was a very straightforward script. There wasn't really a lot of fluff, but it was done to perfection. What they had, they used every bit of that movie, and I loved every single moment of that. Deadpool 2 has a little bit of a broader script here. You've got a little bit more going on with the plot. And unfortunately, that means it does get a little bit convoluted at times. Thankfully, not too bad. But what you have here is Wade Wilson at the beginning of the show. He's going around the world. He's taking out all these bad guys, sex traffickers, drug dealers, whatever. And it finally eventually comes and bites him in the ass when one of those guys shows up with a bunch of goons at his house, and Vanessa winds up getting shot and killed. And now Wade Wilson goes after the killer immediately after that, kills him and tries to kill himself. But of course, he's like Wolverine, he heals very rapidly, so it's like impossible for him to kill himself. So Colossus kind of somehow finds out what's going on and tries to help out Wade Wilson deal with whatever's happening in his life, and starts training him to be an X-Men. So Colossus takes him to the X-Men mansion where they have a great cameo. There's a joke, breaking the fourth wall all the time. And Deadpool's like, couldn't they afford even one X-Men? How about that guy with the angel wings? And so you turn around and there is literally a bunch of the X-Men, James McAvoy, you have Quicksilver, Nicholas Hoult, and then they shut the door behind him. And so you get a really cool, quick cameo there. But then you have this kid who is in this institution that is supposed to be helping children with mutant abilities, but of course the headmaster is actually torturing them and trying to get them to not use their mutant powers. So this kid acts out at this facility. They send in the X-Men to go help them out. Deadpool is one of them, and he finds out what's going on. He realizes this kid is being hurt, and so he shoots one of the guys that works there and tries to shoot the headmaster. Colossus tackles Deadpool, so that's not how we do things. They go to a prison. At this prison, Cable shows up. He is actually starting this movie in the future, where his wife and child had been murdered by an older Fire Fist. And so he comes back to kill the child, Fire Fist, who is, of course, in lockup with Deadpool. So you have this great big fight scene between Deadpool and Cable. And really great looking, honestly. Deadpool doesn't quite make it out of this one in the best of shape. So he decides, talking to Weasel, that they need to get a team together. And so this is where you get your very short scenes from Terry Crews, Bill Skarsgård. You have Rob Delaney plays this just normal guy, Peter, who wants to join the team. And of course you have Zazie Beetz as Domino, which I absolutely love Zazie Beetz, and I love the role of Domino. It was really fun. So right off the bat, they're going to jump out of a plane and try to catch Fire Fist, who is being, in this convoy, transported to another location. Again, doesn't quite work out the way they want. A lot of the team winds up dying right off the bat. They're parachuting, and then there's a wind advisory. So like Bedlam, Terry Crews, he's flying down and he gets smacked by a bus. Zeitgeist goes right into a wood chipper, and then he spits acid all over Peter. So yeah, dude, it was just crazy. Vanisher winds up hitting a power line, and then you see it's Brad Pitt. So that was pretty funny. I mean, honestly, that whole sequence, I don't know that there wasn't anybody in the theater that wasn't laughing their ass off. And it was pretty uproarious for most people, I think. Like, it was really good times. It was really well done. So, that being said, Fire Fist makes friends with Juggernaut. Juggernaut is released out of this convoy during this fight on the convoy with Cable and Deadpool. And so, Juggernaut, okay, first of all, let's get past the obvious here. It was CGI and it was bad CGI. This was an example of a movie trying to go way above and beyond their budget. It just looked bad, in my opinion. Like, really bad. Like, PlayStation 2 or 3 bad. So at the end of the day, it was cool to see Juggernaut in a movie, but they could have done a lot better. Juggernaut, though, he punches through the floorboard of the convoy and breaks the bridge underneath, so they all fall down. Juggernaut goes up to Deadpool, rips him in half. Now Cable has to come to Deadpool to team up with him because he has to get to Fire Fist, but unfortunately they've released Juggernaut, so now everybody else has to team up and try to take out Juggernaut and deal with Fire Fist. And so Wade Wilson's trying to save Fire Fist and Cable's trying to kill him. So, that's kind of where we wind up at the end of the movie. They go over there, they find Fire Fist as he's trying to take out the headmaster of the school. And Domino realizes her reason for joining this whole thing was because she was at that school being tortured at one point. So, they take out Juggernaut, this big CGI fight with Colossus and Juggernaut. And again, CGI, not the greatest CGI. So you do have to take that into account when you're reviewing a movie. I think, if there are parts that don't look great, you got to mention that. And they did not look great. However, they did have some fun things that went along with that. So it was actually Yukio, Negasonic, and Colossus that had to team up to kind of take out Juggernaut. And then Wade Wilson takes a bullet for Fire Fist that came from Cable. And so Fire Fist realizes that, Wade Wilson saved him and he really does care about him. And so that kind of changes Fire Fist in some ways. So you have that. And then Cable rewinds time with that little device he has. And winds up saving Wade Wilson as well. So supposedly Cable only had one trip to get back to the past and then one to go back to the future. So he uses that second one to save Wade Wilson, and he's going to stick around in present time and help out. So after the movie is done, you get an amazing, and I mean absolutely amazing, mid-credit scene where Negasonic and Yukio fix this little time travel device, and Wade Wilson goes back in time. So there's a lot of great things that happen here, and I mean a lot of great things. First thing they do is Wade Wilson goes back to the point where Vanessa gets killed and winds up killing the guy that was going to kill her before he gets a chance. Then he goes and saves Robert. Robert was going to go and pull Zeitgeist out of a wood chipper, gets acid spit all over him, dies. So Wade Wilson goes back in time and changes that and just tells Peter to go home. But then, after that, you see the end sequence in X-Men Origins Wolverine where you've got Wolverine versus the Deadpool that they made for that movie, and he just gets shot in the head, and Wolverine's just kind of standing there dumbfounded really quick, and then Deadpool is just saying, hey, I'm going to ask you to come out of retirement. Just say yes. And while he's saying it, he just keeps shooting the other Deadpool. It was hilarious. And then you see Ryan Reynolds with the Green Lantern script, and he shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head. That was really great, too. Then you have him go all the way back to some point in time. You don't really know when yet. and he's at a crib with a baby, and he wants to kill this baby, and then you see it's Adolf Hitler. And so at the very end of the movie, the end credit scene, Wade can't kill Hitler, and he says, "Don't worry, I'm going to come back with a friend. He has no problem killing babies," talking about Cable, of course. So really, really funny end credit scenes, dude. I absolutely loved them. They were hilarious. So I really did love this movie. I thought that they had some amazing moments, not just action sequences. The convoy scene I thought was really, really well done. Domino infiltrating the convoy, the fight with Deadpool and Wade Wilson, Deadpool and Wade Wilson, Deadpool and Cable, I thought was really well done. And just everything that led up to it, the rest of the X team falling to their deaths, I thought was hilarious. Really the only problems I had was the story did get a little bit convoluted. As you see, just to tell the story, I had to talk about a lot of things that happened. And it didn't always gel perfectly, but it wasn't terrible. It definitely was not bad. As a comedy, this definitely served its purpose. As an action movie, it definitely served its purpose. And Ryan Reynolds was still as solid as ever as Wade Wilson Deadpool. He really fits the role. He's got a great sarcastic sense of humor. It just fits, man. It just absolutely fits, and I loved every second of this movie. So, not quite as strong as the first one, but I am going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really loved it. Had a great time with it. So that's what I think about it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz, Kaged Nation, out.